How to see someone's true nature. Everyone wears a mask. Some wear it to survive, others to deceive. You'll never meet a person without one. Not at work, not in love, not even in friendship. We live in a world built on performance. But Machiavelli once said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see, but few can feel." Most people only see. Very few feel. That's why deception thrives. To see someone's true nature, you must look where others don't. You must learn to feel what is real, even when it's hidden beneath smiles, compliments, and promises. Short pause. The mask protects them, but if you're patient enough, they always show you the cracks. Before we go deeper, if you're drawn to understanding power, control, and the psychology behind human behavior, this is your space. Subscribe to White Side of Black Coded, where we don't chase light or dark. We study the force that governs both. Because once you see the truth, you'll never unsee it. The first step is silence. Not the kind that comes from weakness, but the kind born of control. When you speak too soon, people mirror you. When you stay silent, they reveal themselves. In the silence, their words become weapons. Their laughter becomes a confession. Their eyes become a window. Machiavelli warned, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Most people reveal their nature too late, after the damage is done. But the observer, the one who watches without reacting, always sees the truth early. Watch how someone treats the powerless. That's the closest you'll ever get to their soul. Low pause. If they mock the weak, they will betray the strong. If they smile at everyone, they fear rejection. If they hide behind charm, they're preparing for control. Never chase what they say. Follow what they do when they think you're not watching. People expose themselves through their desires. What they want defines who they are. You can pretend to love, you can fake loyalty, but you cannot hide what you crave. Power, validation, security, attention, control. Every mask is shaped by a need. Every smile conceals a hunger. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He wrote, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. When you learn which one drives someone, you understand their nature completely. If a person is ruled by fear, they will lie, flatter, and submit until they no longer need to. If they're ruled by love, they will forgive too easily, trust too quickly, and bleed too much. But the rare ones, those who are ruled by neither, are the ones to respect, because they act from reason, not emotion. Watch what a person defends. Watch what they chase when no one is watching. That's who they truly are. Pressure exposes everything. It's the moment when the mask cracks and the truth bleeds through. When people lose comfort, they lose control. When they lose control, they show themselves. That's why the strong stay calm, because chaos reveals everyone else. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler, Machiavelli wrote, is to look at the men he has around him. In pressure, you don't only see the person, you see the quality of their circle. Weak minds surround themselves with comfort and noise. Strong ones surround themselves with silence and loyalty. The next time someone is tested, don't rush to help. Watch. Listen. See who they become when the world turns against them, because that's who they've always been. People speak with intention, but reality doesn't lie. You can say, "I care." You can say, "I'll be there." You can even swear loyalty. But when it costs you something, that's where truth begins. Everyone sees what you appear to be, Machiavelli said. Few experience what you really are. To see someone's true nature, study the distance between their words and their actions. If the gap is wide, they are a liar. If the gap is small, they are still learning. If there is no gap, they are rare. And that's the kind of person you never betray. Don't be blinded by words that sound like music, because even poison can be poured into honey. Betrayal hurts, but it's never meaningless. It is the purest form of revelation. When someone betrays you, they haven't changed. They've only become visible. Machiavelli once said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." People change masks with seasons. They adapt. They evolve. They hide. But betrayal is when the mask slips and truth walks in naked. Never curse the one who betrays you. Thank them, because they just saved you from a longer illusion. The moment of betrayal is painful, but it gives you a gift, clarity. And clarity is power. If you want to know a person, test them. Not by asking questions, but by creating situations. Give them freedom and watch what they do with it. Give them power and see who they become. Give them nothing and watch how they treat you then. It is much safer to be feared than loved, Machiavelli said, because love blinds. Fear sharpens.
When people love you, they often pretend. When they fear losing you, they show their truth. Create small tests, a delay in response, a withdrawal of attention, a minor disagreement. Each one reveals more than 1,000 conversations. Don't react, just observe. Because when emotion rises, truth escapes from the mouth. To see others clearly, you must also see yourself. You cannot detect deception if you live in it. You cannot read darkness if you refuse to face your own. The human mind projects. We see in others what we refuse to confront in ourselves. The manipulator fears manipulation. The liar fears lies. The weak fear strength. So before you read someone, cleanse your lens. Detach from your bias. Watch, but don't judge. Listen, but don't feel. Because when you become the mirror, everyone else reveals themselves. The most powerful people appear calm, not because they lack emotion, but because they control it. When you stay calm, you remove the weapon others use against you. Your anger feeds them. Your reaction empowers them. Your silence starves them. Machiavelli said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." But the highest deception is composure. The calm one always sees. The calm one always knows. The calm one always wins because they're never predictable. When you master your calm, others expose their chaos. That's when their true nature becomes obvious. Remember, the louder someone is about their virtue, the darker their secrets. The quieter someone is about their strength, the more real their power. You can fake one moment. You can fake a day. You can fake a week. But you cannot fake patterns. Human behavior always loops. Observe the repetition. Do they always play victim? Do they always talk about others? Do they always need validation? Do they disappear when you no longer serve them? These are not mistakes. These are patterns. And patterns are truth written in motion. The nature of men is so constituted, wrote Machiavelli, that they readily believe what they wish to be true. Don't believe in what comforts you. Believe in what repeats itself. Once you begin to see through people, you start to feel something strange. Silence. Not the silence of peace, but of understanding. Because seeing the truth kills the illusion you once lived in. At first, it feels lonely. You'll look around and realize almost everyone is pretending. Pretending to be kind. Pretending to be strong. Pretending to care. Machiavelli said, "Men are so simple and so much creatures of circumstance that the deceiver will always find someone ready to be deceived." The deeper your vision becomes, the more isolated you feel, because clarity separates you from the comfortable. But don't confuse loneliness with weakness. It's the tax of awareness, the price you pay for not living blind. You'll notice when you stop reacting emotionally, the world starts reacting to you. They will call you distant, cold, detached, but they won't understand you're simply seeing through the noise. You're no longer moved by the surface. You've learned to read energy, not words. You've learned to see intent, not gestures. You've learned that most people's kindness is a form of currency, a trade for validation, approval, or control. And that realization gives you freedom. Because when you see people as they are, you stop expecting them to be what you wish. You stop chasing closure. You stop explaining yourself to the blind. This is where the transformation happens. The observer becomes the strategist. The victim becomes the visionary. You stop reacting to people and start positioning yourself around them. To see someone's true nature, you must be willing to detach. Attachment blurs vision. When you want something from someone, love, respect, recognition, you will edit their truth to protect your hope. But when you no longer need them, you begin to see them. Machiavelli wrote, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." And the first command is over yourself. Command your emotion. Command your silence. Command your distance. Because distance sharpens perception. The moment you step back, the image becomes clear. You start to notice patterns others miss. The fake empathy, the hidden envy, the quiet competition disguised as friendship. You start to understand that most people don't want connection, they want control. And once you stop giving them the reaction they crave, their real nature erupts. That's when you see who they are without their mask. Detachment isn't cold, it's clarity in motion. You can care deeply and still be detached. You can love someone and still see their flaws. You can forgive them without trusting them again. Because forgiveness is for peace. Trust is for patterns. There's a moment that always comes when they realize you can see them. They feel it. They sense the shift. You no longer react to their charm. You no longer chase their approval. You no longer fall for their stories. And that's when fear begins. Because nothing terrifies a manipulator more than someone who can see. Detachment isn't cold. It's clarity in motion. You can care deeply and still be detached. You can love someone and still see their flaws. You can forgive them without trusting them again. Because forgiveness is for peace. Trust is for patterns. There's a moment that always comes when they realize you can see them. They feel it. They sense the shift. You no longer react to their charm. You no longer chase their approval. You no longer fall for their stories. And that's when fear begins, because nothing terrifies a manipulator more than someone who can see. Machiavelli said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves." You must be both. The fox, silent, perceptive, strategic, and the lion, calm, firm, untouchable. They may smile at you, but their eyes will flicker with discomfort because they know you've seen what they work so hard to hide. Your awareness disarms them, not through confrontation, but through presence. They no longer control the narrative because you're no longer playing the game. And that is psychological power. You don't expose them. You don't accuse them. You just let them feel your understanding. The silence between you becomes heavy because they know they've been seen. There's a special kind of strength that comes from walking away quietly. No announcement, no argument, just withdrawal. When you stop giving your energy to what drains you, the world rebalances. When you walk away from the fake loses power. It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver, Machiavelli said. The greatest revenge is not reaction, it's indifference. Let them wonder why their words no longer sting. Let them realize their manipulation no longer works. Let them talk. Let them spin stories. Because power isn't in proving your truth. It's in letting theirs collapse without you. You see, when you truly know someone's nature, you no longer fight them. You simply position yourself so they can never touch you again. And in that distance, you reclaim your peace. Your mind becomes your fortress. Your silence becomes your weapon. Your awareness becomes your crown. Seeing someone's true nature is not about judgment. It's about awareness. It doesn't mean you hate them. It means you understand them. Because once you see, you can choose who to trust, who to distance, who to walk beside, and who to walk past. The world belongs to those who can see beneath appearances, those who don't get lost in charm, those who understand the difference between the hand that shakes yours and the one that will stab it. To see clearly, you must first become invisible. To understand others, you must first master yourself. To see the truth, you must stop wanting comfort. Machiavelli said, "Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." So change how you see. Stop looking at people's faces. Start watching their shadows. Because in the end, truth is never in the light.
It hides in silence. If you've made it this far, you're not ordinary. You've chosen to see what most people deny. Subscribe to White Side of Black Coded, where we don't chase light or dark. We study the power that governs both. Because knowledge isn't power. Awareness is.